And here we go, episode 3 of Serial Keller. I am your host, Steve Keller from Brevard Live Magazine, one of the organizers of the Space Coast Music Festival. Along with me, as always, the guy behind the controls, Mr. E.
From your nightmares.
Yeah, like Alice Cooper.
Yes.
That's the first thing I thought of.
I'm actually from behind your ears. I'm like soap scum, and
All right.
don't mind me. That was a little bit of improv.
That's
there.
a visual for your ears, for your audio files. You're listening to Serial Keller. This is episode 3, as we mentioned, and on today's program, a little bit of improv.
Yeah.
Which whenever I'm with you and we hit record, I feel like we're improving anyway.
Oh, this is all improv. This is you in the airplane, and the pilot steps out for a smoke break, and you're like, oh, well, what does this button do?
Yeah. What me worry? So today,
Is that a
Aaron,
Garfield shirt?
Not Garfield. That's
Who is it?
Alfred E. Newman from Mad Magazine.
Oh,
Garfield. As
I don't know.
if. What is this? A CD?
I don't know. It's just Mondays, you know.
Indeed. So today we have Aaron McFarland Karnes, who you may not know by name or even by the name of his company, but it's definitely a very cool venue in EGAD, in the O'Galley Arts District. He is one of the co-founders and leaders of Funky Dog Improv. And if that sounds familiar, the name used to be the Not Quite Right comedy troupe or improv troupe, which is the old Derek Gore's Gallery in EGAD. So we talked to him today. We talked to him about a plethora of situations for not only his business, but also for the Space Coast Music Festival, which is happening Saturday, November 6th, all over EGAD.
All over it.
All over. 85 bands. And in his venue, the Funky Dog Improv, we're going to have a singer-songwriter stage brought to you by Wickham Road Music. So we thank Wickham Road Music for sponsoring the stage. We thank Funky Dog Improv. Again, we'll talk to Aaron about the details, but I wanted to run through who is going to be on that stage.
Could I ask a question
day.
first?
Of course.
What makes that venue different than the others? What's singer-songwriter stage? What does that mean for us silly people?
Well, a singer-songwriter is exactly that. So usually it's a solo act. I think there's maybe a couple on here that are a duo. As far as equipment, they usually just have a guitar, or with one of the acts, which we'll talk about in a second.
It's a more relaxed atmosphere.
It's relaxed. It's stripped down. Let's say stripped down. I don't necessarily want to say I don't want to say casual or lounge music necessarily, but it is stripped down to just voice and guitar usually.
Okay.
As compared to, again, this year we have reggae, we have metal, we have jazz with Kristen Warren and her Brevard All-Star Band headlining the festival this year. So again, this was a concerted effort in 2021 to have a singer-songwriter present. And when we listen to Aaron's interview, it'll become pretty apparent why his venue was a perfect choice for it.
All right.
So if you were wondering, and I know there's people out there that are, who is going to be performing that day on the Wickham Road Music, am I saying that right? Wickham Road Music stage at the Funky Dog. Things get started at 1 o'clock with Mr. Jim Davidson, followed by Adam Bloom. Saint of Pine Hills, one of those acts, like I've been saying in the press, that I'm not familiar with who that is, and as one of the organizers, that really excites me because I don't need to know everybody that's playing. So you guys as well are in for a treat. You're going to see bands and artists that day that you've never heard of. So that, to me, that's the whole reason of the festival itself. After the Saint of Pine Hills, we have Kim Larson, followed by Joey Ferris, David Dublas, Nolan Clegg, The Housing Crisis. The Housing Crisis is a solo artist. He goes to school up in Gainesville, but he's from Brevard. So he'll be making, I think, his Brevard debut down here at the Space Coast Music Festival.
That's an interesting name, yeah.
I agree. And then followed by The Housing Crisis, a lot of familiar names for those people that follow the solo artists or the open mics throughout Brevard County. Bill Frank, Mira Mudd, Bradley Rodriguez. Bradley is the lead singer of Zeddemore, who's going to be playing as a band. He's also doing a solo set that day. Tina Eno, Lowell Everly, Paul Robb, Wes Humphenagel, Melo Daniels, and Mr. Skylight. Now, Mr. Skylight is the guy who actually is just a keyboard as opposed to guitar. So very entertaining people, very diverse lineup this year at the singer-songwriter stage presented by Wickham Road Music at the Funky Dog Improv. So without any further ado, I'll shut up now, at least by myself. You'll hear me talking with Aaron McFarland Karnes after this. All right, welcome to another episode of Serial Keller. I am Steve Keller, and with me today is Aaron McFarland Karnes from the Funky Dog Improv. How you doing, man?
I'm well, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing good. We're back in the space. 2019 Space Coast Music Festival. It was known as the Not Quite Right Improv. Why don't you give us kind of a backstory? I know you've told me off air, but give me a backstory on the name change.
So, Not Quite Right Improv was our original name. We were run by, we had a different owner and all that stuff, and troupe leader, I guess. They ended up getting really busy with life and had to make some life changes and move away. So instead of letting the improv die, my wife Holly and I stepped in to kind of take the reins, and we turned it into a nonprofit, and we made our deaf pup Pearl our mascot, and since she's a little crazy and silly, we called it Funky Dog Improv, and that's kind of the short version of how we changed the names.
That works. Now, we were also talking about kind of the momentum that you guys had, a lot of people had, from 2019 into 2020.
Yeah.
And then where we're at now. So kind of give us a timeline of how things shut down for a while as well.
Late 19, going into 2020, we were rocking and rolling. Sellout shows every weekend for about 15 or 16 shows in a row. We were selling out a week or more ahead of time. And we do the improv. It's like, whose line is it anyway? Get a suggestion from the audience, play some games based on those suggestions. Really, it was starting to take off, and then come March the 14th, I guess, of 2020, the world shut down, and we ended up closing our doors for the entirety of the year. Didn't do anything in here, and once we opened our doors back and tried to reopen, early 21. Nobody was coming out, even though we were legally allowed to be open. I guess you could say nobody was coming out. So we shut down again, and then we tried to reopen here recently in June of this year, and we have been selling shows. They have not necessarily been selling out, except for one or two of them, but we're starting to see that traction come back a little bit. Different kind of audience, different kind of vibe, but still fun.
And that's a great segue, actually. We're talking with Aaron McFarland Karnes, Funky Dog Improv, and the different crowds, right?
Yeah.
2019 Space Coast Music Festival. You guys were one of the only air-conditioned venues. I remember that specifically. Mm-hmm. Don't want to go into too much necessarily, but the vibe here was younger bands, was heavier bands. Mm-hmm. That's when I met you after the fact. What kind of, this is kind of a loaded question, but what kind of taste in your mouth did the 2019 music festival leave?
Oh, so it was not great, and it was difficult and challenging because we are, like you said, we're one of the only air-conditioned venues that we had in that music fest. Our space is acoustically not the best. I mean, it's loud, with a lot of concrete. And there's not a lot of room in here. Only can hold 49 people per code. And we were trying to stick to that code because the fire marshal was bouncing around and in and out of the venues all day.
All day.
And the crowd that was in here wanted to get rowdier and have a little more fun than what our space could safely allow them to do. And I think it put a bad taste in their mouth. It put a bad taste in our mouth because it was somewhat contentious between venue operator and crowd. So I was hesitant to do it again this year because I didn't want to put a black mark on our business as being unreasonable and not able to work with and let people have fun. Also, I want to maintain safety guidelines and remain compliant with code because they easily could shut us down, and we're a 501c3. We don't have a lot of money to begin with to to be mucking around with stuff like that, you know. But I think this year we're transitioning into what, singer-songwriters?
Exactly. So I mean, this and to your credit, man, you've been nothing but professional with the organizers, and we met after the ruckus.
Yes, we did.
So I mean, I appreciate both of our demeanors thereafter, because it was one of those things where I can't speak for Steve, but I got pulled in going, hey, you need to go over there and find out what's up.
Yeah.
Ironically enough, it was my drum set too that was in this. So as I was walking, going, I wonder how much damage or how much ruckus there was. Yeah. But now you're back with us in 2021. It is a very deliberate stage for us. It's a new thing for Space Coast Music Festival as well. There will be singer-songwriters throughout the day. Something like 15 or 16 of them. So awesome. There's no teardown. There's no, it should be a very peaceful. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but
it's, our setup is more cabaret style anyway. We got the little cocktail tables. You put the chairs out. You sit, and it's designed specifically to come in and just sit with a beverage and just enjoy the music and socialize and enjoy what you're listening to, right? It's not necessarily a space to, again, because of space in the space, there's not a lot of room to get to dance and all that stuff. So I wanted bands that were going to be a little more lower key type music, lower key type artists, so that they can benefit just as much as the concert goer can benefit,
Yeah, and just being back in the space, this is the first time I've been back. Probably, definitely since 2019. It's definitely got a warm, inviting, creative feel to it. Obviously, for those people that know, this used to be Derek Gore's gallery as well. How did Not Quite Right get into here from that transition?
When we were still Not Quite Right, we were doing classes and doing shows once a quarter or so. At the Henniger Center in downtown Melbourne. And it became a struggle because they were growing and whatever, they were trying to expand their business and how they handled in-house stuff with people renting out space and that sort of thing. So it was becoming a struggle to find a place at the Henniger to either perform or have a class. So after one round of classes there, we reached out, and Jess, our leader at the time, somehow had met or knew Derek, and he still had his space on Highland at the time. So he's like, well, I got space and I'm not using it at night. If you guys want to come chill, I'll give you a key and you can rent the space out and do your thing there. So we were there, and Derek was so good to us that when he moved over here, he's like, you can keep doing what you're doing in this space. And we did, and that Derek was one of the biggest reasons we really started to take off. He was definitely a pebble that helped that avalanche fall, because he would rent the space out to us on Saturday nights, and we would just move and play around the artwork and stuff like that. And once he decided he was going to move again and get a different space, that's when we were like, we can't. This is prime real estate right here. We can't lose this space. So, especially for what we do, like you said, it inspires creativity with the brick and the what do they call this, industrial look, and it's lovely, it's inviting, it's comfortable, You
guys mentioned that it's a nonprofit. How important was that in the evolution of the business of Funky Dog?
To Holly and I, it's super important. Yeah, I mean, with a nonprofit, there's a little more hoops you got to jump through and to maintain your compliance and everything. But that's okay, because I'm gonna sound a little cheesy here, but it's real. Improv, on the face of it, is silly, and it's just playing some games, and it's just goofing around. But the reality of it is it develops life skills, it develops listening skills and learning skills. It helps people become more confident in themselves and vulnerable as a human. And you can transition anything you do in here to the real world. And we really want to become more so than just a venue to do shows on Saturday night. As much as we are theater people and enjoy that, what we really want to become is an educational hub, where we're trying to do that anyway, where we're teaching kids classes. Right now we got kids classes going on sometimes during the week, during the day for homeschool kids. We offer stuff for them. We have then also nighttime classes for public school kids. First through sixth graders right now are doing a class that we call Literary Adventures, where we checked out some library books and we're letting them read through the books, pick their favorite characters, and then creatively bring those characters to life on stage with no script and let them just explore improv and all that. And through that, they're learning and developing life skills. And we've had a couple, just as an example, how it can help literally everyone. We had a couple parents reach out to us after the fact and say, hey, my child is usually quiet at home and they don't talk and they just keep to themselves. And since they've started taking classes with you guys, they're like a totally different person and they're happier and blah, blah, blah. So it definitely translates over. We want this to become something that can give back to the community. We want this to become something where we can partner with other nonprofits and help raise money for various things. And, we really want to be able to give back and share what we do,
So you mentioned the kids. What if someone older wants to get involved? Do you have classes currently for older students?
Yes, we have. We offer classes to basically all ages, first and up, first grade and up. Younger than first grade, we can do stuff with them, but it's tough wrangling them and getting them to pay attention. That first grade and up, they tend to be more involved. We don't have any high school classes going on right now, just because with school and everything and the theater, anyway. Adult classes, we do have adult classes going on right now. They meet 4 times a week. Not 4 times a week, that's wrong. 1 time a week for 4 weeks, and 2-hour classes, and we teach them the basics of improv, teach them some of the games that we play and that sort of thing. And it's like $100 for the 4 weeks, 2 hours each night. So it's pretty fair pricing.
Very cool. You're listening to Serial Keller, Steve Keller from Brevard Live Magazine from the Space Coast Music Festival. And it's just, whenever I'm in EGAD, like we're talking now, it's just, again, the creativity. But it's more than just the creativity. It's not about just promoting yourself. It's like you're saying with Funky Dog, with his area, with Derek.
Yeah.
Everybody brings something to the party.
Yeah.
And having the music festival here, it's gone to 85 bands. A lot of that is because of the full lineup here with the singer-songwriter stage. But it's just, the atmosphere is always so inviting. How did you get involved with improv?
I Googled when I moved to Melbourne in 2013, April of 2013. I Googled what is there to do in Melbourne, Florida.
Okay.
And I came across the Not Quite Right improv troupe, and they were offering classes. And so my first class ever, I just said, F it, I'm going to go and see what this is all about. My first improv class was on April the 22nd of 2013. And that night, Jess was like, I have a full week-long class starting like next week if you're interested. And I wrote her a check and I never looked back.
Yeah.
And I've been doing improv almost every week for the last 8-9 years now. So.
And how has that helped you, like you're saying, with confidence, with public speaking? Mm-hmm. I would imagine, leaps and bounds.
I did improv my life, and I say improv my life as if it improved my life, and it totally did. I go into every conversation now in my head like it's an improv scene.
Okay. And
I listen more, and I try my best to make that, what do they call it? It's I try to give the gift of gracious receiving. Anything that person is giving to me when they're speaking to me, the more I can listen, the more I can contribute to the conversation and get them to share more. It allows both of us to feel comfortable. It allows both of us to feel that confidence, like this is somebody that I can talk to that actually does care about what I have to say and offer. And that is the improv. That is the skill set of improv that has helped me do that. Because before, I would shut down, or I just socially awkward, didn't like short, small talk and all that sort of thing. So it's definitely changed my life and my outgoingness and confidence. So
that's awesome. And that's, again, these, jewels in the EGAD area. People may not know that you guys exist or that you used to be. I get that from time to time. Now, where did Not Quite Right go?
Yeah.
It evolved into Funky Dog Improv. So if someone wants to get involved, if someone wants to donate, since you guys are a nonprofit, what's the best way to do that?
You can go to our website. It's www.funkydogfl.com. That's FUNKYDOGFL, like Funky Dog Florida.com. And there's a donate button on there. There's also, if you want to come see a show and just check us out and see what we do, you can access shows there, class information, and also information how to contact us if you want to rent out the space for like your own private party, or if you have like a team building thing that you want to do with a corporate workshop or whatever. In fact, we're doing a private, we're performing for a wedding here on Halloween. Nice. Somebody hired us to perform at their wedding reception. So we are for hire outside of the venue too.
Very cool. All right, so you're listening to Serial Keller. I'd be remiss if my producer, if I didn't ask my question for my producer. What is your favorite cereal?
Oh, Fruit Loops. I like Fruit Loops. Is that good? Is that bad?
I feel like I should improv like the toucan or something, but I'm not. Fruit Loops is delicious. So there you go. That was for Mr. E. Serial Keller, talking about cereal. And talking about the Space Coast Music Festival. It's happening Saturday, November 6th, including at the Funky Dog Improv. I don't know how many singer-songwriters you get a chance to witness or recently, but there's a lot of open mics throughout the county. A lot of these performers that day are veterans of the open mics. So it's really come full circle as one of the organizers to see that they can walk in with their acoustic guitars set up, do 20 minutes, and the camaraderie is huge too, because I'm sure a lot of those seats will be taken up by the other performers just supporting each other, which is really not only with improv but also with the music scene as well.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. And I look forward to meeting some of these folks, because I would enjoy maybe doing some collab stuff down the road with some of these acoustical musicians, and because we are malleable and we used to do stuff with Orangatanga. We used to do shows with them. It was a lot of fun, so we're definitely available.
Excellent. We've been listening to Serial Keller. I am Steve Keller. This is Aaron McFarland Karnes, Funky Dog Improv, and check it out. Again, everything culminates on November 6th, but check out the Funky Dog Improv online. Donate with such a worthwhile cause, and thank you for your time, man.
I appreciate it, Steve. Thanks so much.
All right, we'll be right back.
And there you go, our conversation with Aaron McFarland Karnes from the Funky Dog Improv. You're listening to Serial Keller. My name is Steve Keller from Brevard Live Magazine and one of the organizers of the Space Coast Music Festival. Big thanks to Aaron. It's an amazing venue. I know you probably haven't been there, Mr. E, but it is air-conditioned, which doesn't sound like much, but when you're 4,000 strong in the O'Galley Arts District, it's a nice diversion to get into the air conditioning.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's not too hot during the show. I mean, we're in November, right? So be nice.
Someone said that to me last night, but you'll be surprised what kind of Saturday afternoon heat waves. Like yesterday was like 90 degrees.
It's going to be an improv weather forecast on November 6th. Was that the date? Did I get it right?
You did.
Yes.
November 6th.
I'm getting good at this.
You are getting good at this.
I do have to ask, did you guys plan out that serial question? Did you discuss it ahead of time so you had such a...
No. Not at all.
Okay. Good to know.
Maybe I should have improved the toucan bird and
you need to improve that question. That's what you need to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we can definitely take your suggestions as well and your comments and feedback if you'd like to tell us what your favorite cereal is. You can go
We would love to know.
How would we find out, though? You can email me.
You can comment on this video.
You can comment. There you go.
There you go.
I'm new to this YouTube thing. So comment your favorite cereal, whether it be Fruit Loops or otherwise. And then once you've had a balanced breakfast, you can make plans to go to the Space Coast Music Festival happening when?
November 6th?
Yes. Where?
EGAD, O'Galley
EGAD.
Art District.
Indeed, yes. Over 85 bands, including the 15 or so that we mentioned today at the Funky Dog Improv. Funky Dog Improv presented by Wickham Road Music. It's one of the 7 stages that we'll have. Found out recently we're going to have over 100 vendors there as well. A normal FleeGAD is about 30 vendors. In 2019, I think we had about 60. We're up to triple digits for the vendors that are going to be there. So if you're not into the music, or if you're more into buying things, which is great for our economy here, then you can have that aspect to the Space Coast Music Festival as well. So thank you for tuning in. We've got 2 more episodes of this arc for the Space Coast Music Festival.
The story arc.
The story arc, yeah. It's a wrestling term. And if you want to improv, again, www.funkydogfl.com. Thanks to Aaron McFarland Karnes. Thanks to you guys for listening, and we will talk to you next time on Serial Keller. His name is Rios, and he's playing SCMF. Welcome.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. Welcome to a sugar-powered episode, the final episode of this arc.
Mine is brand powered over here, just so you know.
Okay.
We gotta make this quick.
Yes. I have no idea what that means. You're listening to Serial Keller. My name is Steve Keller from Brevard Live Magazine, one of the organizers of the Space Coast Music Festival, along with me always, my sidekick and mentor, Mr. E.
And I'm not always with you, but
Oh, yeah. The
in
restraining
spirit.
order says you have to be.
Okay,
actually.
good.
So,
No, it's a containing order.
and here we are. This is our 5th installment of Serial Keller. Thank you for anyone who's listened, anyone who's clicked, anyone who's told anyone about this
Good things only,
podcast.
of course.
Of course.
Let me ask you something,
Yeah.
because we never even got here. What's your favorite cereal?
You just can't throw me on the spot.
You can't
there.
improv. You need to go to the Funky Dog, get some skills.
Yes, apparently I do. No, I'm going to say, after some lightning quick deliberation, the Reese's Puffs.
Oh, nice. So basically, I'll take Snickers cereal.
Yeah, because
as soon as they create that.
we've talked about this as a kid. We didn't have a lot of money, and we would always get the puffed rice, right? The generic stuff. So
Right.
as I became older, even now after I got divorced, it's like these decisions are mine again.
Oh,
right?
wow. Yeah.
And I stumbled across Reese's Puffs
All right.
cereal. Now I've also had 2 heart attacks in my life, so I'm not drawing any conclusions
No.
to General Mills or whoever makes those, but choose wisely. I
Yeah.
think has been the theme of this whole "What's your favorite cereal?" What you want to eat, what you should eat is probably a little bit different.
I didn't know we had an actual lesson to be learned here, but I'm glad you brought that up.
Now you know.
I liked the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cereal
Okay.
because it was basically like Chex with marshmallows shaped like turtles. But on the box, they got creative with the marketing, and they called the Chex Ninja Nets, so you could catch the bad guys. Very clever.
It is clever. I've never even heard of this. So I might have to run out and buy a
Go
box.
look for it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it came out in 1988, so you're not going to want to eat it.
Yeah, I got nothing. But Reese's All right, so for those of you playing at home on the bingo card, Reese's Puffs and Teenage Mutant Ninja Chex.
Yeah, expired Ninja Turtle cereal. Reese's Puffs you can still get. Go with that one.
Yeah, but again, consult your doctor before ingesting. So, moving on to our guest today. He's a handsome man.
Really?
He is, and he's a good friend of mine. Hopefully, he's a good friend of yours. Frank Rios is his name.
I
the
don't know
Rios
him.
rock band.
I don't know him.
See, we learned stuff on
I'm
these.
sorry to
on
tell
this
you, I don't
program.
know him.
It's educational.
Okay.
But Frank Rios, to the masses, is the leader of the Rios rock band, who is out every weekend playing 3 to 4 hours of cover music. And if you know anything about the Space Coast Music Festival, there won't be a cover in sight. There will be all original music. So I'm very excited to bring you this interview with Frank, because Frank is an accomplished singer-songwriter in his own right, and we are happy to have him as part of the original music lineup at this year's Space Coast Music Festival. So we'll talk to Frank about his career. We'll talk to Frank about his day gig, if you will, doing the Rios Rock Band, as well as his original music that he's bringing on November 6th. So when we come back, Frank Rios on Serial Keller. And there you go, our talk with Frank Rios on Serial Keller. My name is Steve Keller from Brevard Lad Magazine and the Space Coast Music Festival. Mr. E, learning about Frank Rios, learning about cover music around town and what Frank Rios is bringing to the Space Coast Music Festival, his own original songs this year on Saturday, November 6th, along with about 84 other bands. We have reggae, we have folk, we have heavy metal, we have hip-hop. So we're excited, and you can get all the details. We don't necessarily plug this quite so much, but you can get all the details and the band lineups at www.spacecoastrocks.com. So Serial Keller, we did it. 5 episodes.
It's over, and it feels like a chapter in my life is being closed, and I don't know how to react. I'm confused. I'm disoriented. I think I'm gonna go back underground for a while. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
All right.
In a word, yeah. Well,
yeah,
while Mr. E is getting therapy, you guys can come check out the Space Coast Music Festival Saturday, November 6th. We'll have yoga early in the morning, and then the music starts at noon. Again, Frank Rios being part of that lineup. You can go to spacecoastrocks.com for all things Space Coast Music Festival. We thank our sponsors. We thank you guys for coming out, and we thank you guys for listening as well. Been listening to Serial Keller. And that's it.
That's it.
Boom.
That's the end of Serial Keller.
Or is it?